Imagine logging into your bank account on, like, a random Tuesday morning. You hit refresh and you see a deposit for $132,000.
Right.
And the wild part is, you didn't talk to a single customer to make that money. You don't have a boss. You don't even have a single employee.
Yeah, it sounds completely made up.
Right.
Right.
But you built a piece of software in your pajamas, you launched it on the internet, and a machine just does all the heavy lifting while you sleep. We are looking at a case study today of a solo founder, a guy named Peter Levels, who is doing exactly that.
Yeah.
He's pulling in over $250,000 a month total, all by himself, using AI.
I mean, it sounds like an internet scam, right? Or like some exaggerated guru pitch. I had the exact same initial reaction when we first started combing through this stack of research. But when you actually look under the hood at the underlying mechanics of how these automated systems function in the year 2025, the skepticism really starts to fade. The barrier to entry for software development has effectively dropped to zero.
It really has.
So welcome to this custom-tailored deep dive. If you are listening to this right now, you are the crucial third person in the room with us. Our mission today is to unpack a massive stack of sources. We're talking technical teardowns by Ferdy Korposhuk, strategic frameworks by Dan Martell and Christian Peffarelli, and, highly specific case studies from operators like Jason Lee and Rob the AI guy.
And we have a very strict filter for you today. We're looking exclusively at low-cost, beginner-friendly AI business models.
Exactly.
We are talking zero capital, just sweat equity. Models that can be launched from a kitchen table with literally nothing but a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection.
Which means, I think, we need to set a hard boundary right out of the gate. Because some of our source material, specifically the breakdowns by Christian Peffarelli, they highlight these incredibly lucrative AI strategies that frankly require significant upfront capital.
Oh, right, the Cody Sanchez stuff.
Yeah. He discusses a model where an entrepreneur acquires existing unglamorous businesses. Think laundromats, local HVAC repair companies, or like commercial landscaping businesses.
I saw that in the notes. The idea is that you buy this old school analog business and then you inject it with AI to automate the operations, right? Like you fire the expensive middle management and just massively juice the profit margins.
Yeah, it is an incredibly smart private equity play. And to execute it, they use something called seller financing. For those unfamiliar, seller financing basically means you don't go to a traditional bank for a business loan.
Right.
Instead, the person selling the laundromat essentially acts as the bank. You agree to pay them a portion of the business's profits over the next, say, 5 to 10 years until the purchase price is paid off.
So you could acquire $1 million cash flowing business with very little of your own cash up front.
That's the theory, yeah.
Okay, that sounds amazing in theory, but I have to throw a flag on the play here.
Yeah.
Even with seller financing, buying a commercial HVAC company involves lawyers, massive personal liability, operational risk, and usually some amount of a down payment. And that completely violates our core mission for you, the listener, today. We are entirely ignoring that strategy. No buying companies, no acquiring physical inventory. We are starting from absolute zero.
It's a necessary exclusion. If we are staying true to the zero capital constraint, we are really looking at the ultimate modern crossroads for a total beginner. The digital economy currently offers two distinct paths that require no money to start.
Okay, let's lay them out.
Down the first path, you have the active hustle. This is building a service agency where you use AI tools to deliver a high-value service to a client. You are still trading your time for money, but the AI gives you superhuman leverage.
Right.
Down the second path, you have the scalable lottery. This involves building automated, passive web applications where you aren't selling your time at all. You are selling access to a tool.
It really is the grand debate of the modern internet economy, isn't it? Do you want the immediate, predictable cash flow of a service business or, the exponential, wildly unpredictable growth of a software asset?
That's exactly the choice. Both paths are entirely viable, and both utilize the exact same foundational AI technology, but they require fundamentally different psychologies and daily routines.
Yeah.
But I think the most logical place to begin, if the goal is to generate your first dollar online as quickly as possible without spending a dime, is the active hustle. You start a zero capital service agency.
Well, let's unpack the mechanics of that because, service agency sounds incredibly formal. I picture a glass office in Manhattan with people in suits pitching advertising campaigns.
Right, like Mad Men.
Yeah, exactly. But what we are really talking about is a solo operator finding a specific bottleneck for a small business and using an AI tool to remove that bottleneck.
The terminology can be intimidating for sure, But the concept is ancient. You are solving a problem for a business owner who is either too busy or too overwhelmed to solve it themselves. What makes this era different is just the sheer velocity of the tools. However, the sources are unanimous on one critical point. You cannot simply advertise yourself as an AI expert or an AI consultant. That is a massive beginner trap.
Wait, why is that a trap? If I know how to use ChatGPT better than anyone in my town, shouldn't I just, broadcast that to every business owner?
Well, consider the psychology of the buyer. If you own a local plumbing company, you do not wake up in the morning stressed about your lack of artificial intelligence.
Of course.
You wake up stressed because your phone is ringing off the hook while you are under a sink, and you are losing thousands of dollars in unbooked jobs. AI is just an abstract technology. Business owners do not buy technology, they buy outcomes. They buy solutions to highly specific headaches.
That makes perfect sense. It's the old marketing saying, right? You don't sell the drill, you sell the hole in the wall.
Which leads directly to the absolute necessity of picking a niche. You have to specialize in a specific industry and solve one specific problem within that industry.
Okay, give me an example.
Jason Lee's research provides a phenomenal case study here. He highlights an entrepreneur, a woman operating outside of the United States actually, who is generating $50,000 a month.
Wow.
And her entire business model is providing AI receptionists exclusively for local appointment-based businesses. We are talking dental clinics, boutique beauty salons, and boutique real estate agencies.
I want to hover on that dental clinic example because I think it perfectly illustrates the concept. Let's really look at the anatomy of that problem.
Let's do it.
If I am running a dental practice, missed calls are the ultimate silent killer of revenue. Like, someone chips a tooth at 10 o'clock at night, they're in pain, they pull out their phone, search Google for emergency dentist near me, and they call the first result.
And the clinic is closed, so the call goes to a standard voicemail. Hi, you've reached Dr. Smith's office. Please leave a message.
And the patient immediately hangs up. They do not leave a message. They hit the back button on Google and call the next dentist on the list until a human being, or something resembling a human being, answers the phone and gives them an appointment time.
Exactly.
That one missed call could represent a lifetime customer value of thousands of dollars in cleanings, cavities, and root canals.
Now look at the traditional solution to that problem. The clinic could hire a night shift human receptionist, but that introduces a cascade of new costs. Salary, payroll taxes, health benefits, sick leave, training.
Yeah, that's a lot of overhead.
You might be looking at $4,000 a month just to cover the off hours.
Enter the AI receptionist. But I need to ask a skeptical question here. As a consumer, if my tooth is cracked and I'm in pain, I really do not want to talk to a robotic automated menu that says, press 1 for emergencies, press 2 for billing.
And you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But you are thinking of old school IVR interactive voice response systems. Those are the rigid phone trees we all universally despise.
Oh, the worst.
The AI receptionists Jason Lee is discussing are built on modern large language models, very similar to the technology powering ChatGPT. They utilize advanced text-to-speech processing that includes natural pauses, filler words like and ah, and dynamic conversational flow.
Seriously, it uses filler words.
Yes, they do not sound like robots reading a script. They sound remarkably like a polite, somewhat stoic human assistant.
So let's say the patient calls at 10 p.m. The AI answers, Dr. Smith's office, how can I help you? The patient explains they have a cracked tooth. How does the AI actually help them instead of just saying, I will leave a message for the doctor?
This is where the service agency adds the value. The beginner who built this system uses simple no-code automation platforms, often tying together tools like Make or Zapier, to connect the AI voice agent directly to the dental clinic's internal calendar software.
Okay, I follow.
The AI agent is instructed via a natural language prompt, something like, you are a dental receptionist. When a patient calls with an emergency, express empathy, check the connected calendar for the earliest available slot tomorrow morning, and book the appointment.
So the AI says, oh, I'm so sorry to hear you're in pain. Dr. Smith actually has an opening at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Should I lock that in for you?
Exactly. The patient says yes. The AI asks for their name and date of birth, inputs the data directly into the calendar API, and the appointment is secured.
That is wild.
The patient goes to sleep relieved. The dentist wakes up to a booked emergency procedure. And the AI handled multiple concurrent calls throughout the night without ever putting anyone on hold.
And the financial arbitrage here is just crazy. You, as the beginner running this AI agency, might charge that dental clinic $500 a month for this 247 service.
Right.
And to the dentist, spending $500 to save $30,000 a year on a night receptionist, while simultaneously capturing thousands of dollars in previously lost emergency bookings? I mean, that's an absolute no-brainer.
The value proposition is undeniable, but the strategic brilliance of niching down really reveals itself when you go to acquire your second customer.
How so?
When you walk into the dental clinic across town, your pitch is entirely optimized. You do not say, I am an AI automation agency. You say, I build conversational voice agents specifically for dental clinics. I know exactly how your booking software works. I know the most common questions dental patients ask. And here is a case study of how I eliminated missed calls for a clinic 10 miles away.
You instantly bypass the skepticism. They want to know that you understand their specific world.
Narrowing your focus eliminates perceived competition. A generalist agency might have a fancier website, but the dental clinic will hire the specialist every single time.
Okay, let's look at another niche example from the sources to prove this isn't just about phone bots. Jason Lee and the Prompt Wealth case studies both highlighted the content repurposing service.
Yeah, that's a fascinating model that leverages an entirely different set of AI tools.
So the scenario here targets the massive creator economy. Let's say you decide to niche down into like the dating and relationship advice space on YouTube.
Good niche.
You have these creators making phenomenal hour-long podcast episodes or deep dive video essays, but their growth is stagnant because they are only posting on YouTube. They aren't on TikTok. They aren't doing Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts.
And the creator knows they should be distributing short-form content. The algorithm heavily favors it right now.
Yeah, you have to do it.
But finding the most engaging 60 seconds within an hour-long video, cropping it to a vertical format, manually transcribing it, adding those dynamic, popping captions that keep people's attention, and then scheduling it across 3 different platforms, that takes hours of tedious manual labor per video.
And this is where the AI tool Opus clip comes in.
Yeah.
I actually played around with this after reading the source material, and the underlying mechanism is wild. It doesn't just randomly slice a video into segments.
No, it is performing algorithmic curation. How did you perceive it working when you tested it?
Well, you paste the URL of the long YouTube video into the Opus clip dashboard. The AI transcriber converts the entire audio track into text in seconds.
Right.
But then it uses a language model to scan that text, looking for hooks. High emotion statements, controversial opinions, or self-contained stories.
It's acting like a producer.
Exactly. It identifies the highest retaining moments, cuts them out, automatically tracks the speaker's face so it stays centered in the vertical frame, and burns in those viral style captions with emojis and highlighted keywords.
It takes a process that would require a skilled human video editor 3 hours, and it executes it in roughly 3 minutes.
It's just stunning leverage. I mean, it's almost hard to believe until you see it.
So as the agency owner, you target creators in that dating and relationship niche. Jason Lee specifically advises targeting creators who have between 50,000 and 200,000 subscribers.
Wait, why that specific subscriber count?
Yeah.
Why not target the massive channels with millions of subs or, the brand new ones with 100?
It comes down to budget and infrastructure. A channel with 10,000 subscribers usually isn't generating enough ad revenue to afford a monthly retainer.
Makes sense.
And a channel with 3 million subscribers already has a dedicated full-time staff of human editors and social media managers. There is a gatekeeper you simply cannot bypass.
Ah, okay.
But the creator in that 50K to 200K middle class of YouTube, they are making real money, but they are completely overwhelmed. They are a one-person show burning the candle at both ends. They have the budget to pay you, and they have the desperate need to reclaim their time.
So you step in and offer to turn their one weekly long-form video into 20 highly engaging, algorithm-friendly short clips. You manage the posting schedule. You become an expert in the dating niche, understanding which specific hooks resonate with that specific audience.
You are utilizing AI to manufacture time for the creator.
All right, the theory is rock solid. Pick a niche, dental receptionists,
Right.
real estate SEO blogs, dating advice YouTube clips. But here is the massive unavoidable wall that every total beginner hits.
Getting the first client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am sitting at my kitchen table. I have 0 clients. I have 0 track record. If a creator actually replies to my message and says, sounds interesting, send me your portfolio, what do? I have nothing to show them.
This is the classic catch-22 of starting any service business. You need a portfolio to get a client, but you need a client to build a portfolio.
It's so frustrating.
It is. But Dan Martell's strategic framework addresses this directly, and his methodology for a beginner is absolutely essential to understand. The core philosophy he outlines is modeling, not copying.
Modeling, not copying.
Yeah.
How does that translate into actionable steps for someone staring at a blank screen?
Let's use the SEO blog post example. Suppose you decide your agency will provide highly optimized, search engine-friendly articles for local real estate agents using ChatGPT.
Let me pause you there for 1 second just to make sure we don't leave anyone behind. When we say SEO, we mean search engine optimization. The art of making sure a website shows up at the very top of Google when someone types in best neighborhoods to buy a house in Chicago.
Correct. And a local real estate agent desperately wants to be at the top of that specific search result. Now, a beginner's first instinct is to open ChatGPT, type in, write a blog post about Chicago real estate, and assume they're done.
Which produces a generic, robotic, incredibly boring article that Google will immediately ignore.
It produces digital noise. To build a professional-grade portfolio without clients, you must reverse engineer success. Martell's method requires you to start with research, not generation.
Okay, so what does that look like?
You use free SEO research tools or simply manual Google searches in incognito mode to find the top 10 performing blog posts in your target niche. You look at the articles that are already ranking #1.
You're finding the proven winners.
You analyze them, you study their structure. Do they use short paragraphs or long ones? What tone do they use? How often do they include bulleted lists? What specific secondary keywords do they weave into the subheadings?
You are trying to figure out why Google's algorithm loves these specific pages.
Exactly. Then, and only then, do you bring in the AI. You feed those top 10 successful examples into ChatGPT. You construct a highly detailed prompt that essentially says, I am providing you with the top performing articles in the Chicago real estate niche. Analyze their tone, their structural pacing, and their keyword density. Do not copy their content. However, I want you to adopt this exact writing style and structure to write a brand new, original article about navigating property taxes for first-time buyers in this market.
So you are training the AI on the exact pattern of a successful output before you ever ask it to write a single word.
It is the difference between asking an amateur to paint a landscape from memory versus taking a master painter to the Louvre, showing them the great works, and asking them to paint a new scene using those established techniques.
That's a great analogy.
The resulting output will be professional, highly optimized, and indistinguishable from an article written by a seasoned SEO expert.
And you can do this for any niche. Like, let's say I'm doing YouTube thumbnail design for personal finance channels. I don't just open Canva Magic Studio or Midjourney and start randomly generating images of money.
No, you would utilize specialized tools like 1 of 10 or ViewStats, which are platforms dedicated to tracking YouTube analytics, to find the most viral, high click-through rate thumbnails currently circulating in the personal finance space.
You save those viral thumbnails. You look at them and realize, okay, the pattern here is a highly expressive human face on the left, a bold 3-word neon text hook on the right, and a blurred background of a stock market chart.
Right. You use an AI tool to analyze that visual composition, and then you use Midjourney to generate 5 to 10 brand new, entirely original thumbnails that strictly adhere to those high-converting rules.
You spend a weekend doing this, and suddenly, without ever having a single paying client, you possess a rich, professional-grade portfolio of work that you know is aligned with current market trends. The catch-22 is solved.
The portfolio is built, the foundation is set, but now we arrive at the friction point where, honestly, 90% of beginners quit.
The cold outreach.
The necessity of contacting a stranger, interrupting their day, and attempting to convince them to exchange their money for your service.
It is universally terrifying. Staring at a blank email draft, wondering how to avoid sounding like a spammer. Most people just write something like, "Hi, I'm a thumbnail designer. I'm very passionate. Please hire me."
Which is immediately archived or marked as spam. It offers no value and asks for a massive leap of faith from the buyer.
Yeah, I wouldn't reply to that.
Nobody does. Dan Martell outlines a methodology to completely bypass this traditional sales friction. He calls it the audit to deal process. It is a masterclass in triggering the psychological principle of reciprocity. We need to detail this step by step.
Let's break down the audit to deal. How does the beginner actually execute this?
Step 1 is mapping the universe of potential buyers. You do not just blindly message people, you scrape leads. If you are targeting real estate agents, you go onto LinkedIn and filter by job title and location.
Right.
If you are targeting creators, you use YouTube search filters. You build a massive, organized spreadsheet containing their names, contact information, and a link to their current content.
And as we discussed with Jason Lee's strategy, you ensure you are targeting the middle class of your niche, not the giants who have gatekeepers and not the beginners who have no budget.
Step 2 is where the paradigm shifts. You do not send a pitch, you run an audit. You do the work up front for free without them ever asking for it.
This is the free sample at Costco approach to B2B sales.
A very apt comparison. Let's stick with the YouTube thumbnail designer scenario. You find a personal finance creator with 80,000 subscribers. You look at their channel, you notice that their videos are great, but their recent thumbnails are cluttered, the text is unreadable on a mobile screen, and their view counts are stagnating.
You have identified the bottleneck.
You use your AI tools to completely redesign their 2 most recent thumbnails based on the proven, high-converting patterns we discussed earlier.
So you've actually done the work.
Then, you record a Loom video. For you listening, Loom is a free software that records your screen and your webcam simultaneously. You keep it incredibly brief, under 60 seconds.
Let's actually role-play this.
Right.
What are the exact words I'm saying in this Loom video to avoid sounding like a sleazy salesperson?
The tone should be entirely consultative and value-driven. It sounds something like this. Hey John, I am a huge fan of the channel, specifically your recent breakdown of index funds. I was analyzing your channel metrics, and I noticed your click-through rate might be suffering because the text on your recent thumbnails is getting cut off on mobile devices. I actually went ahead and used a few new AI tools to redesign your last 2 thumbnails to increase readability and visual contrast. Here they are. I have attached the high-resolution files to this email. Please feel free to swap them out right now on your channel and see if your views go up. Keep up the great work.
End of video.
End of video.
I am absolutely fascinated by the psychology of this. Let's analyze why this is so devastatingly effective compared to a traditional cold email.
Yeah.
First of all, the personalization is undeniable. You aren't sending a mass blast. You are literally looking at their specific channel on the screen.
Exactly. It immediately establishes competence.
Yeah.
They do not have to imagine if you are good at design. They can look at the attached files and see the quality with their own eyes.
And more importantly, you have triggered the law of reciprocity. You have handed them a tangible, valuable asset free of charge without demanding anything in return. The social pressure to at least reply to that email is immense.
When they do reply, and a significant percentage will, that leads to the final phase, offering a low-friction transition to a paid deal.
Walk me through that.
When John the creator replies and says, "Wow, these are actually incredible, thank you," you do not immediately demand a $2,000 monthly retainer.
You keep the barrier to entry low.
You reply, "I'm glad you like them." If you are interested in having this level of optimization for your next 4 videos, I'd love to run a low-risk trial with you for a fraction of my normal rate.
Oh, that's smooth.
Or if you are truly at absolute zero and just need your very first testimonial, you might even propose, "Let me handle your thumbnails for the next 2 weeks completely free in exchange for a documented case study if your views increase."
You are essentially auditioning for the play by showing up with the set already built, the lighting rigged, and the costumes tailored. The friction for the buyer is practically non-existent.
Precisely.
Once you have that first documented case study, once you can show that your AI thumbnails increased John's views by 20% selling, the next client becomes infinitely easier.
The active hustle model is undeniably the fastest route from $0 to a predictable income.
I agree. The blueprint is bulletproof. But I need to push back on the fundamental premise of this entire path.
Okay, let's hear it.
We started this deep dive talking about leverage and unprecedented opportunity. If I follow this audit to deal process, I grind it out and I land 5 clients paying me $1,000 a month each. I'm making $5,000 a month. That is life-changing money for a beginner.
It's a phenomenal achievement.
But have I actually built a business, or have I just created a new 9-to-5 job for myself?
Yeah.
Think about it. I am constantly managing relationships. If a client is unhappy with an item, I have to revise it.
Sure.
If I get sick and stop running the Opus clip automation, the content stops flowing and the client stops paying me. I am still fundamentally trading my time for money. There's a hard ceiling on how many clients a single human being can manage before burning out. Is this really the promised land of AI wealth?
Your pushback highlights the exact existential limitation of the service agency model, and it is a vital realization for any entrepreneur to reach.
So I'm not crazy.
Not at all. The active hustle is not the end game. It is the launch pad. It gets cash flowing without a bank loan. It forces you to learn sales psychology. It builds your confidence in operating the AI tools. But you are absolutely correct. It is not truly scalable without hiring a massive team of human account managers, which introduces overhead, payroll stress, and operational headaches.
The classic agency trap. You just become a manager of people instead of a creator.
The inevitable desire for any ambitious beginner is to ultimately decouple their time from their income, to stop selling hours and start selling assets. And that realization forces the transition to our second path, building automated passive web applications.
Here is where the landscape gets truly surreal. We are talking about the shift from freelancer to tech founder. Historically, if you had an idea for a software application 5 years ago, you had two brutal choices.
You either locked yourself in a room for a year to learn complex coding languages like Python and React, or you took out a second mortgage to pay a development agency $30,000 to build a buggy prototype.
The gatekeepers to the software industry were massive walls of technical knowledge and capital. Not anymore. The sources we reviewed, Ferdy Korposhuk, Rob the AI Guy, Christian Peverelli, all dedicate massive portions of their breakdowns to the explosion of no-code AI app builders.
Yes.
We are talking about platforms like Lovable, Bolt, Loom, and Deep Agent by Abacus AI.
These tools represent a fundamental shift in how humans interact with computers.
I was watching Ferdy's tutorial on Lovable, and my jaw was literally on the floor. He did not write a single line of code. He used natural language prompts. He just typed plain English sentences into a chat box, and the AI generated an entire, functional, beautifully designed web application in front of his eyes.
It is vital to understand the mechanism of what is actually happening under the hood here, because to a beginner, it looks like pure magic. But it is not magic. It is structural translation.
Walk me through that translation. How does my plain English sentence turn into a button I can click on a website?
When you type a prompt into an AI builder like Lovable, the large language model isn't just randomly guessing at code. It has been trained on millions of repositories of existing software. It understands structural logic.
Okay, so it knows the patterns.
Yes. When you say, I want a user to be able to upload a PDF, the AI translates that plain English intent into the specific programming syntax required. For instance, generating a React front-end component for a file upload button, while simultaneously writing the back-end routing logic necessary to receive and store that file on a server.
It is acting as both the architect drawing the blueprint and the construction crew laying the bricks, instantaneously.
Exactly. It understands the relationship between the visual interface, the paint on the walls, and the underlying database plumbing. To truly grasp how accessible this is for a complete novice, we should walk through the exact order of operations Ferdy Korposhuk used to launch a web app from absolute scratch.
Let's do it. Step 1 is the hardest part for most people. Idea generation. Staring at a blank screen, waiting for inspiration to strike. But Ferdy didn't wait. He outsourced the brainstorming to the AI itself.
He opened ChatGPT and effectively gave it a strategic mandate. He prompted it. I want to create a web application, place advertisements on it, and make passive income. What kind of simple, highly shareable web application would people actually like to use? Give me 10 concrete examples.
He treated the AI like a business partner, and ChatGPT spit out a list of incredibly viable ideas. It suggested an AI business idea generator, a cost of living comparator between cities, an AI body visualizer for fitness tracking.
Some really good concepts in there.
But the idea Ferdy latched onto was brilliant in its simplicity. A Millionaire calculator.
The premise being an app that allows a user to input their current net worth, and it instantly calculates and displays all the countries in the world where that specific amount of money technically makes them a millionaire based on live currency exchange rates.
It is the perfect app for the modern internet. It taps into human vanity, it's highly shareable on social media, and it solves a fun, curious problem instantly. So he has the idea. Step 2, prompting the builder.
Right.
Ferdy took that concept over to Lovable. Now, sticking to our zero capital mission, Lovable offers a free tier, but it has severe limitations. You only get 5 credits or 5 prompts per day.
That limitation is actually a disguised blessing for a beginner.
Really? How so?
It forces incredible precision. In the world of AI development, ambiguity is your enemy. If you give a vague prompt, the AI will make assumptions, and usually those assumptions are wrong. Because Ferdy only had 5 attempts, he had to be meticulous.
So he couldn't just say, build me a calculator.
Exactly. He essentially wrote a highly detailed design brief. He typed, "Create a website where people can enter their current amount of money in their local currency and instantly see a list of countries where that exact amount converted makes them a millionaire." He hit enter.
And within seconds, the AI generated the code, compiled it, and presented a functional prototype. But the first draft is rarely perfect. It might function, but the user experience might be clunky. This brings us to step 3, the refinement phase. You have to iterate.
Ferdy looked at the first version and noticed some usability flaws. He used his remaining daily credits to direct the AI engineer. He didn't have to learn CSS to change the visual layout. He just prompted the AI with conversational feedback.
So he noticed the results were spread out, so he typed, "Adjust the layout so the input field and the results fit entirely on a single screen without the user needing to scroll down."
And it fixed it. He also noticed the app required the user to click a submit button to see the conversion. In modern web design, that adds unnecessary friction.
Yeah, people hate clicking if they don't have to.
So he prompted, "Make the results appear and update dynamically in real time as the user is typing the numbers, removing the need for a submit button."
And the AI went into the underlying JavaScript, removed the button logic, and implemented dynamic rendering, just like that. The conversational dialogue with the machine is the new programming language.
And the use cases for these passive micro-applications are practically infinite. Rob, the AI guy's case studies showcase some phenomenal examples of what beginners are building with platforms like Deep Agents.
The YouTube feedback app blew my mind.
Oh, that was a great one.
He built a tool where a struggling creator can just paste the URL of their latest video. The app's backend uses an AI API to pull the transcript, analyze the pacing, evaluate the storytelling structure, and output a highly specific list of actionable improvements to increase viewer retention.
He also highlighted an AI resume evaluator. A user uploads a PDF of their resume, and the AI acts as a ruthless hiring manager, grading the formatting, identifying missing keywords, and suggesting stronger action verbs.
That's incredibly useful.
Or consider the highly specific consumer apps, like an Italian food recipe generator, where a user types in the random ingredients left in their fridge, and the AI spits out a customized, authentic recipe with step-by-step instructions.
The tools are incredible. But I want to pull us back to the business strategy. Building a cool recipe generator is fun, but how does that actually turn into $250,000 a month like Peter Levels?
That's the real question.
Because right now, this feels a bit like throwing digital spaghetti at a wall and hoping someone cares.
Well, that is the exact strategy. You just articulated the core philosophy of the solo AI software portfolio model. Christian Peverelli emphasizes that you must adopt the mindset of a Silicon Valley venture capitalist.
The VC mindset.
Okay.
How does a venture capitalist think differently than a traditional small business owner?
Think about a traditional business owner who opens a coffee shop. They pour all their life savings, all their time, and all their emotional energy into that single coffee shop. If it fails, they're ruined.
Right.
A venture capitalist operates on the law of large numbers. They invest in 20 different startups, fully expecting 19 of them to fail completely. They are not looking for steady singles. They are hunting for the one grand slam unicorn that pays for all the failures 100 times over.
So, applied to the solo AI founder, you do not spend 6 months building the perfect app.
No. You use the incredible speed of tools like Lovable to build small and build fast. You build 10 tiny, hyper-specific apps solving highly niche problems over the course of a month. You launch them all.
Wow, 10 in a month.
Yes, and you expect an abysmal success rate. You expect 90% of them to get zero traffic and make $0.
But you are hunting for the anomaly. Peverelli mentioned that in Peter Levels' portfolio, one single app photo AI generates $132,000 a month. That single app accounts for more than half of his entire massive revenue.
The effort required to build the app that failed was the exact same as the effort required to build the app that generated 6 figures. The market decides what is valuable. Your job is simply to increase your at-bats.
It's like planting seeds in a digital garden. You scatter 20 seeds, most won't sprout. A few might grow into small bushes. But you only need one to grow into a massive oak tree to sustain you.
A fitting analogy. However, a seed cannot grow if it is not planted in actual soil. And this brings us to the most significant technical hurdle for any total beginner.
This is exactly what I was going to push back on.
Yeah.
If I build this Millionaire calculator inside the Lovable platform, it is currently just existing inside their preview window. Lovable gives you a temporary, messy URL. It is not a real professional website.
Exactly.
If my goal is to have millions of people use this and generate revenue, how does it actually exist on the open internet? What is the underlying plumbing?
This is where we must transition from the theory of app creation to the technical reality of web hosting and domains. To operate a digital asset, you have to understand the fundamental infrastructure of the internet.
I am so glad Ferdy Korpershoek went deep into this in his tutorial, because this is where people freeze. Let's break down the concept simply. Think of your domain name like amIamillionaire.com as the street address of a house. It is the human-readable text you type into a browser to tell the internet where you want to go.
But an address alone is useless if there is no physical land associated with it. Web hosting is the actual plot of digital land, the physical server space where your application's files, code, and images live. You have to rent that land.
So when you are using the free tier of an AI builder, you are essentially squatting in a tiny room in their massive corporate office. If you want to scale, if you want real traffic, you have to move out and rent your own server space. Ferdy points beginners toward a platform like Hostinger to solve this.
And the economics of web hosting have become staggeringly favorable for the solo founder. Ferdy breaks down a specific Hostinger business plan. If you commit to a longer-term subscription, the cost drops to roughly $3.99 a month.
$4 a month. That is the entire overhead of your tech startup.
But it is what is included in that $4 that perfectly supports the VC portfolio strategy we just discussed. That single plan does not just give you space for one app. It allows you to host up to 50 distinct websites.
Which means your digital real estate scales perfectly with your strategy. You can launch 10 different AI apps with 10 different domain names, all running on that same $4 a month hosting plan.
Ferdy also highlights several crucial technical specifications that beginners often ignore until their app crashes. The first is storage infrastructure. He notes that this specific plan utilizes NVMe storage.
Okay, stop there. NVMe storage.
Yeah.
That sounds like intense computer jargon. I see that on a checkout page and I usually just ignore it. Why does that acronym matter to someone building an AI app?
It matters because of the physical mechanism of data transfer. Traditionally, servers used SSDs, solid-state drives. While SSDs are good, they connect to the server's motherboard using legacy interface protocols designed for older, spinning hard drives.
Okay.
It's like having a Ferrari engine, but forcing it to drive on a narrow, one-lane dirt road. The data can only travel so fast. NVMe stands for Non-Volatile Memory Express. It is a newer protocol that plugs directly into the high-speed PCIe lanes of the motherboard.
So it's a wider road.
It is essentially a massive, multi-lane digital superhighway. The data transfer rates are up to 5 times faster.
And why does that speed translate to a business advantage?
Because if a user types in their net worth, and your app takes 6 seconds to load the results because the server is struggling to pull the data, that user will hit the back button and leave. In the web app business, speed is directly correlated to user retention, which is directly correlated to revenue.
Got it. Speed equals money. Ferdy also points out some vital security and professional features. The hosting includes custom email addresses, so you can email clients from support@amIamillionaire.com instead of a generic Gmail account. That instantly signals legitimacy.
And crucially, he emphasizes the necessity of domain privacy.
Oh, this is a huge trap for beginners. I fell for this years ago. When you register a domain name, the international governing body for the internet requires your contact information to be logged in a directory called the WHOIS database. By default, that database is public.
Which means your personal name, your home address, your personal phone number, and your email are suddenly available to every web scraping bot on Earth.
It's a nightmare.
Within 24 hours of buying a domain without privacy protection, you will receive hundreds of spam calls from overseas agencies trying to sell you web design and SEO services. Free domain privacy masks your data with a proxy address, completely shielding you from that onslaught.
Okay, so we have our brilliant AI app built in Lovable. We have our high-speed plot of digital land rented at Hostinger. Now comes the moment of truth. We have to connect the two. We have to tell the internet that when someone types in our custom domain name, it should point directly to the app we built.
This is the DNS process, the domain name system configuration, and it is the exact moment where technical intimidation causes many beginners to abandon their projects.
But watching Ferdy walk through it, it really demystified the whole thing. Let's try to provide an analogy to make this mechanism crystal clear. The domain name system is essentially the GPS routing system of the internet.
That's a good way to look at it.
When you type in a domain name, computers don't understand those English letters. Computers only understand IP addresses, long strings of numbers that represent physical server locations.
So the DNS records act as the translation layer. They tell the routing systems, when a human requests this specific name, point them to this specific string of numbers. How exactly does a beginner execute this connection between Hostinger and Lovable?
It is entirely a copy and paste exercise. Inside the Lovable platform, you go to the settings panel for your finished app and click Connect Custom Domain. Lovable will generate two pieces of information for you, a host name and a value, which is the destination IP address.
You are essentially getting the exact GPS coordinates from the builder.
Exactly. Then you log into your Hostinger account, find the domain you just bought, and click on DNS settings. You will see a list of default records that Hostinger put there automatically.
And this is where the most common stumbling block occurs. What must you do before pasting the new information?
You have to do a little bit of demolition first. You must delete the default A records and the www type records. If you do not delete the default records, the GPS system gets confused. It tries to point the user to two different places at once, and the website will just show an error screen.
We'll clear the old routing instructions, then you simply paste the new host name and value that Lovable provided into the empty fields and hit Save.
The internet takes a few minutes to update its global directories, and suddenly your AI app is live, lightning fast, and accessible to anyone in the world on a professional domain.
The infrastructure is complete, the application is live, but an app sitting on a server does not inherently generate wealth. We must now address the core mechanism of the passive software model, monetization.
Right, the money part.
If an app like the Millionaire calculator is entirely free for the user to access, how does it deposit money into the creator's bank account?
The invisible economics of the internet. Ferdy breaks down a dual monetization engine that is perfectly suited for these free, high-utility micro-apps. The two pillars are Google AdSense and affiliate marketing. Let's start with the absolute baseline of passive income, AdSense.
Google AdSense is the machinery of programmatic advertising. When you sign up for an account, Google provides you with a small snippet of code. You embed that code into your app's front end. Google then effectively leases that visual space on your website to display advertisements.
But it's not just random billboards. The brilliance of programmatic ads is the targeting. Google knows an immense amount about the user visiting your site. If someone is on your Millionaire calculator typing in their net worth, Google's algorithm recognizes the context.
Yes.
It understands this user is interested in personal finance, wealth generation, or perhaps travel.
Consequently, in milliseconds, an automated auction takes place. Financial institutions bid for that specific user's attention. The ad that appears on your app might be for a premium travel credit card or a high-yield savings account.
Every time that user clicks on the ad, Google charges the advertiser, and you receive a percentage of that fee. It might be pennies, or it might be several dollars per click, depending on the niche.
The advantage of AdSense is its complete automation. Once the code is placed, you never touch it again.
How's that?
The disadvantage is volume. To generate substantial income purely from AdSense, you need tens of thousands of daily visitors. That is why the second engine is far more lucrative for a beginner with lower traffic affiliate marketing.
I love affiliate marketing because it aligns incentives perfectly. You are essentially acting as a commission-based salesperson, but the software does the selling. When a user clicks your custom tracking link and buys a product on another website, you earn a percentage of that sale. Ferdy uses the example of a platform called Impact.com.
Impact is a massive aggregator. It is an affiliate network that gives a solo operator centralized access to promote over 600 million different products and software services from major global brands.
So how do we integrate this into the app? We don't want to just slap a random link on the page. We want it to be contextual. Ferdy's integration method using Lovable was brilliant. He went to Impact.com and found an affiliate program for a financial software tool. He copied the HTML banner code provided by the network.
He then returned to his conversational dialogue with the AI builder. He did not try to manually code the banner placement.
No, he prompted Lovable. Take this specific HTML affiliate code and inject it directly below the primary input field where the user types their money amount. Ensure the styling matches the rest of the application.
The AI seamlessly integrates the monetization directly into the user's line of sight at the exact moment of highest intent.
He also added a crucial prompt for legal compliance. He told the AI to generate a footer at the bottom of every page containing mandatory legal disclaimers and affiliate disclosure statements.
An essential detail. If you attempt to hide the fact that you earn commissions, the affiliate networks will permanently ban your account and seize your earnings. Transparency is not just ethical, it is operationally mandatory.
Okay, so we have built the entire machine. A free tool draws people in, targeted AdSense monetizes their casual attention, and highly specific affiliate links capture their high-intent purchasing decisions. It is a fully automated digital asset.
Which brings us to the ultimate crossroads of this entire deep dive, the great debate. We have thoroughly mapped out the active zero capital service agency. We have mapped out the passive automated web app portfolio.
So which one is better?
If you are sitting at your kitchen table right now, staring at these two paths, which one actually offers true long-term stability and wealth generation?
To answer that, we have to look at the real-world trajectory of these two models over a 12-month horizon. Let's project the agency route first. We are back to the YouTube thumbnail design or the Opus clip content repurposing.
In that active model, your growth is linear. It is highly predictable. Month 1, you send out 50 Loom audits. You land one client paying you $50 a day. Month 2, your skills improve, you use your case study, and you land 4 more clients. By month 6, you might be making $500 a day in recurring monthly retainers.
You can look at a spreadsheet and know exactly how much money will hit your bank account on the 1st of next month. It is stable cash flow. But as we discussed earlier, it requires unrelenting daily management.
Now contrast that linear stability with the web app route, the Millionaire calculator or the resume evaluator. The growth curve here is not linear, it is exponential, but it is accompanied by violent unpredictability.
Right. You might spend a week building an amazing app, you pay your $4 for hosting, you launch it,
Right.
and for 3 entire months, it makes absolutely $0. The analytics dashboard is flatlined. You feel like a failure.
But then a variable outside of your control shifts. Christian Pivarelli highlights this phenomenon with the Oliver Henry case study. Perhaps a creator on TikTok running a Faceless tutorial channel discovers your resume evaluator.
Oh man.
They make a 60-second video showcasing how your app got them a job interview. That video hits the algorithm perfectly and gets 8 million views overnight.
Suddenly, your server traffic spikes by 10,000%. Your app is processing thousands of resumes an hour, the AdSense clicks are rolling in, the affiliate links to resume writing services are converting. That single app, which made $0 for 90 days, suddenly generates $5,000 in a single weekend.
And the most important part, you did not work a single extra hour to process that surge in demand.
It is the fundamental difference between working for a wage and owning scalable equity. However, if we examine the long-term horizons, deep existential vulnerabilities threaten both of these models.
Oh, absolutely.
I see a massive glaring vulnerability in the service agency model. And it has to do with the nature of the AI tools themselves. Let's say I am charging a real estate agent $500 a month to run their long videos through Opus Clip and post the shorts to Instagram.
A valuable service today.
But the interfaces for these AI tools are getting simpler by the week. At some point, isn't that real estate agent going to realize that Opus Clip costs $20 a month, requires exactly 2 clicks, and they can just have their teenage son do it in 5 minutes? The barrier to entry drops for the client just as fast as it drops for the agency owner.
That is the precise threat to the active hustle. You are currently operating an arbitrage business. You are arbitraging the fact that you know these tools exist and the client does not. But that knowledge gap is inevitably closing.
So what's the play?
To survive long-term as an AI service agency, you cannot remain a mere button pusher. You must ascend the value chain. You must evolve from executing tasks to providing high-level strategic consulting that a software tool cannot replicate.
But the passive app model is not safe either. In fact, its greatest strength is its greatest weakness.
Infinite competition.
Exactly. If the barrier to entry for building software is now 0, if any beginner can use Lovable to build a functional app in 20 minutes, then what stops 10,000 other beginners from building the exact same Millionaire calculator tomorrow?
Nothing stops them. Software code is no longer a protective moat. The technology itself has been entirely commoditized. If you rely solely on the utility of your app to succeed, you will be drowned in a sea of identical clones.
So how does Peter Level survive? How does anyone survive in the web app space if the code is commoditized?
To survive in software today, your product must either serve a community so staggeringly niche that competitors ignore it, or you must possess an unbeatable distribution strategy.
Marketing.
Yes. Building the app is no longer the hard part. Convincing human eyeballs to look at it is the entire game. You have to become exceptional at driving organic traffic. You must master SEO, or you must build vast networks of faceless social media accounts that act as perpetual marketing funnels pushing traffic to your domain. Marketing is the new moat.
Okay, so we have laid out the stark realities. Both paths require zero capital to start. Both utilize incredible AI leverage. But the active path threatens burnout and technological obsolescence, while the passive path guarantees massive competition and unpredictable income. For the listener trying to synthesize all this, what is the ultimate optimized beginner strategy?
The synthesis of all the data points to a hybrid approach. It is about sequencing your efforts. If you are starting today with $0, you cannot afford to wait 6 months for an app to accidentally go viral on TikTok. You need immediate cash flow to sustain your life, pay your rent, and fund your minor infrastructure costs like domains and hosting.
So you must start with the active hustle.
Yes. You swallow your fear and embrace the service agency model. You utilize Dan Martell's audit to deal process. You scrape leads, you record value-driven Loom videos, and you implement AI receptionists or SEO optimization for local businesses. You use this active work to generate highly predictable zero-capital cash flow. You build a foundation that replaces your traditional 9-to-5 income.
You stabilize your financial baseline.
And then you aggressively protect your time. You do not scale the agency to 50 clients. You cap your agency work at whatever sustains your lifestyle comfortably. Then, you use your nights, your weekends, and your excess cash flow to act like Peter Levels.
You transition into the VC mindset.
You start building those passive web applications. You plant the seeds in the digital garden. You launch 10 hyper-niche micro-apps. You experiment with SEO and organic distribution. You use the active service agency to survive the present, and you build the passive web app portfolio to secure the future, steadily working toward that ultimate goal of decoupling your time from your income entirely.
Okay, let's bring this all the way home. What we have unpacked today is nothing less than a masterclass in modern digital leverage. For centuries, entrepreneurship was defined by the massive wall of capital required to participate. You needed a bank loan to buy inventory, sign a commercial lease, and hire a staff before you ever saw a dime of profit.
That mountain has been permanently leveled.
With a laptop, a Wi-Fi connection, and absolute zero in your bank account, you have the blueprint. You can leverage ChatGPT to ideate. You can use Lovable to instantly translate plain English into complex software code, and you can rent high-speed digital real estate on Hostinger for less than the cost of a cup of coffee.
It's all right there.
The tools are openly available, the technical barrier to entry has vanished, and the only remaining variable between zero and a profitable business is your willingness to execute the strategy.
The blueprint is indeed entirely in your hands. But as you prepare to close this deep dive and take that first actionable step, there is one final, larger implication to consider. A macroeconomic trend that is quietly emerging at the very edge of this technological wave.
What is the edge case?
Throughout this entire discussion, we have operated on a fundamental assumption about the nature of commerce. We have talked exclusively about using AI to build businesses that serve human beings. We build an app so a human user can upload their resume. We build a voice agent so a human dentist can book human patients. We rely on human eyeballs clicking AdSense banners.
Right. Because humans are the ones with the credit cards. That is the definition of a consumer economy.
But as these autonomous systems evolve, similar to the open source frameworks Oliver Henry is using to run automated marketing campaigns, a massive shift in the consumer base is approaching. What happens to your business model when the target demographic for your web app is no longer a human consumer, but another AI agent looking to purchase a service on behalf of its human user?
Wait, pause. You are talking about an AI personal assistant scanning the web, evaluating 50 different resume evaluator tools, and autonomously deciding which platform's API to spend its users' money on.
Exactly. We're looking at the transition from B2B and B2C to B2 AI, business to artificial intelligence. The interfaces we build today, the beautiful buttons, the clever copywriting, the aesthetic design, are all optimized to convince a human brain to make a purchase. But an autonomous AI agent does not care about your beautiful logo or your persuasive sales copy. It cares about API response times, data accuracy, and fractional pricing efficiency. Are you prepared to build a digital asset where your most lucrative, highest volume customer is a cold, calculating machine evaluating your code in milliseconds?
Wow. That completely obliterates the traditional definitions of marketing and SEO. If you aren't optimizing for human psychology, you are playing an entirely different game. That is a wild, paradigm-shifting thought to leave on. Thank you to our expert for meticulously synthesizing this massive stack of sources, and thank you, the listener, for joining us as the crucial third person in the room for this deep dive. The mechanics are clear, the path is laid out. Now close the player, open your laptop, and go launch your first asset.